Hey guys, it's Katie from RNSchoolofNursing.com, and today I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about my first experience on the floor as a nursing student. I remember it so well. I remember being so nervous. I mean, not even just that day, but being nervous, days and weeks before having to go in there. And you spend weeks and weeks in theory in class talking about it, preparing for it, learning all the things that you should know before you go in, and you walk in there and it just feels like you know nothing. And that's exactly how I felt. So if you've been there, if you are planning on going in soon, or if it's not for several months from now and you feel that way, it's totally normal. We started out on a subacute floor. This was in Joshua Tree, California. Really, really small town, one hospital, and I don't even remember how many beds it was, 30 on the med-surg floor. But we started out on a subacute floor, which was actually separate from the main hospital. So you had to drive up the hill a little bit, and I just remember I drove there by myself and got there pretty early, not too early, but definitely early enough so that I didn't have to rush. I wanted to be prepared, walk in there, and you just remember that feeling, that overwhelming feeling coming over you. And all the stuff that you learned, you want to remember it, you want to apply it, because this is your time to shine. And just remember that you will. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. It's going to happen anyways. If you're a type A person like me, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. But just remember that everyone's learning, and if you're going to make mistakes, this is kind of the time to do it, because you've got your nursing students there with you, you've got your instructors there with you, and hopefully some really nice nurses on the floor with you too, who are great teachers. And luckily, for the most part, that first day, I think I had great people to turn to. And don't be afraid to ask questions. I think that was the biggest mistake with lots of people. They were just too afraid to ask questions. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to bring your resources either. I remember having my entire backpack of, books and med cards and med books and all these other resources, but even if you don't use them, it's important to bring them, because you never know if you're going to need them or not. But anyways, so we get there, and I'm waiting for my instructors to come in and give us our patient assignments for the morning. I think it was like 7 in the morning that we had to start. And they walk in and they're all business. It's so different from in the classroom. They really expect a lot out of you. Being professional, and of course applying all the knowledge that they've spent hours and hours teaching you. So you don't want to disappoint them. And get our assignments, and that first day we actually were partnered up with another student, and we didn't know who our partner was going to be until that morning. So it wasn't with someone who I was all that comfortable with, but we, it was fine. I can't remember her name, but I totally remember her face, and she was a very sweet girl. She was one of the students who was more on the quiet side, and I'm definitely not, so that was, it was hard at first, but was the two of us, and we had one patient to share for the whole day. It was a male patient, and I believe he was in his mid-40s. And again, this is a subacute floor, and if you're not sure what that is, these are patients who are in a persistent vegetative state, and most of them are on ventilators, or they have trachs. A lot of them can't talk to you. So it was definitely an eye-opener for me, and nothing I had ever seen before. You hear about it, and you talk about it, but it's so different when you walk in there and you're walking down the hallway and you're looking in these rooms and you see these patients, and a lot of them have been there for years, some of them 5, 10 years, and that's their home. That's where they've lived for a lot of their life, and it really puts things in perspective when you're starting there, especially as a student, because it's scary already. But we get our patient, we walk to the room together, and I don't think we even said a word to each other. We just walked right to the room. We stood outside the room for I don't even know how long, talking about what we were going to do, what was the plan, who was going to do what, who was going to go in first, and we were both so scared. We didn't know where to start. You know, I mean, in your head you have it planned out, and you know what you should do, and you know what you need to do, and it just kind of stops for a second, because it's real. That's a real person in there laying in that bed, and you're supposed to take care of him. So I think it was me actually just said, okay, let's just do this. So we walk in, and of course we start with our morning assessment, and I think we did really, really well. We were very thorough. We also had to do a bed bath, of course, and get all the morning routine down. After we were done with that, we had to go back out to the hallway and start passing out morning medications. So the way we did it with my instructors was we all had to line up one by one, have all of the medications already written out. We had to know what each of them were. We had to know what each of their mechanism of action was. We had to know why the patient was getting it, you know, for what condition, and you know, everything about it. And we all had to do that one by one. So that took up a lot of time, but I thought it was a great way to really learn the medications, learn a lot about your patient, and that's what we did. That took up most of the morning. Your day is kind of also filled with, you know, other things like trying to get him up out of bed if you're able to, if that's something that patient's able to do. You know, just basic needs like mouth care, bed baths, eating if they're able. A lot of them had feeding tubes, so of course you're monitoring all of that throughout the day as well. Charting, reporting back to your instructors, and the rest of the day is kind of a blur, but I do remember pretty vividly just standing there outside that patient's room, looking at the other girl, just not knowing where to start. But I'll tell you, it gets easier with every time, you know, you come into contact with patients. It gets that much easier. You learn that much more, and I wouldn't take back any of my experiences at the hospital. There were bad days, there were great days, and you'll always remember your first day because you'll remember how scared you were. But learn from it and take everything from it you can, and things will just grow from there. So hope you guys enjoyed that. I felt like I was rambling a little bit, but I will have more videos coming soon talking about some other great things. So this is Katie, rnschoolofnursing.com, and we'll see you guys next time.